7 minutes and we start the show. Hi. Hi, everyone. Uh-oh. It's time. It's time. Hello. Hi. It's the R9cast. The official Blood Dish Christian Super Duper Show for ElectronBandit.com, representing R9, representing AllGames.com, representing Xbox, baby. You know, I mean, just some small little fledgling company out there trying to make their way in the video game market. That's what they are. And you know, it's not like they Atari or something. You know, somebody big like Atari. You know, it's not like they that. It's not like sorry, I'm just checking my levels. Some stuff happened this week. We'll get into that in a moment. You know, sometimes I think, okay, first of all, if you want to be part of the conversation, part of the chats, the multiple chats. I actually have one chat. I haven't opened it. Let me see if I can open that chat. That chat is, where's that chat? Let me see if I can open that chat. Let's see if I can open that chat. Mother a flower. Let's see if I can open that chat. Boy. Can I just, whatever, man. Let's see if I can, open that chat. All right, sorry. That's what happens when I'm just, share, of course, on it. Huh? Okay. So stupid. Okay, see? This is why I don't use Facebook. Because I'm supposed to be screaming. I'm supposed to be screaming on Facebook. They're not there. Timber not there. Okay? You know what I'm saying? I don't even try. I give up. I'm done. See your way out. You lose. Good day, sir. That's about how I feel about the situation. Kind of, sort of. Just had a double stuffed golden Oreo. Think I like the chocolate better. I mean, that's not saying nothing about race relations in America or nothing. I'm just saying chocolate better than vanilla in this instance. Now, you talk about milkshakes. I'm gonna have to dip my tongue in the vanilla. Vanilla is a beautiful, I think they're beans, right? They're beautiful beans. They look like blackroot from Willow, but they're delicious. I'm like, how you make vanilla so good? Like, first of all, you gotta scrape it and dry it and do all this, you know, crazy. The word escaped my brain real quick. You know, magic stuff, wizardry. And then, you know, you dilute it with a 1,000,000-to-1, you know, water or whatever your whatever your favorite fluid is. Flavor it. That's a good word, flavored. I think I'm going to use that. And also, I am the awesome? No. I am the experience? I can't remember. Somebody said something in a tweet. I was arguing with somebody yesterday. Wow, it was so exhilarating. Okay, let me say this for the record. When I'm on Twitter, I'm having fun. It's not serious. That's not a place to be serious. That's a playground for crazy people, and I indulge in the craziosity, lunacy. It's the moon. So I was arguing with somebody in Twitter for hours. Went to sleep, woke up, still going. I was like, yo, I gotta go sleep. Let's continue this tomorrow. Boom. Came back, continued tomorrow. So it was like 2 days of arguing. It was so much fun. And then somebody jumped in who was not a crazy person. And I was like, I can have an actual conversation with somebody now. So I just started, kind of going back and forth with this new person. The other person's still screaming It has to be a pony. I mean, I use pony as just a funny word to say to people. Not, I'm not trying to be, mean or anything. It's just a word that is in the zeitgeist that means something, 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 right? This person was literally a pony, for real, a Sony pony to the bone. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm just trying to, I throw a couple of jokes here and there, but yo, you okay? I didn't pull the okay, it's not that serious line. I didn't say that. But I was like, what? Wow, yo. Okay, slow your man. So other dude comes in, or other person comes in, and throws some facts out there. Kajudo, hey Kajudo, how you doing? Hope everything's good with you up in New York and stuff. Yo, what's up with your boy Cuomo? Yeah, what's up? What's up with your governor? Yeah, I'm just playing. What was the fight about? How did it start? I said, I think Pete Rock, not Porter Rock. Porter Rock posted a post about, I guess, Miles Morales selling so many millions of units or whatever, right? 5 million or whatever, just like, look at the sales number of Miles Morales. And then I posted a kind of a rebuttal to that post. I posted his post within my post, and then I said, Xbox, the biggest gaming thing just happened in video games, and the ponies are talking about Miles Morales sales and put like laughy emojis and stuff. That's what jumped it off. And I wasn't even arguing with Pete Rock because Porter Rock, because Porter Rock knows Porter Rock is not a pony, right? So let me explain. You probably know, but I'm gonna explain it anyway for people who don't. Porter Rock is a PlayStation dude, but he's not a pony, right? But he does the arguments, and he indulges in the console war because it's fun, and it's just like debate club basically, you know what I'm saying? And a whole bunch of guys do it. I do it as well on the Xbox side. You have J Dub, aka Kratos. He does it on the Sony side as well. And they're not ponies because, they play everything. They just like video games in general. They just prefer PlayStation, right? That's cool. I prefer Xbox. I have a couple of PlayStation consoles. Don't have a 3, 4, or 5. Had a 3, gave it away. Anyway, you know the story. Kaju says Puerto Rocket is a racist slur from the early to mid 1980s. 80s in my school. I already don't like it. Honestly, I don't know if it's that exactly. I mean, I guess it is, but I don't know if that the racist slur. I mean, I figured he was trying to be like, oh, I want to be like Pete Rock and CL Smooth back in the day, except I'm Puerto Rican, so it was Porter Rock. Try to be, whatever, clever with the verbiage, but I don't know where the etymology of his personal handle comes from. So. But I don't. He's not racist. He's a Puerto Rican dude, and he just put rock because maybe he was top rocking back in the day. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I'll ask him one day. Maybe I'll do some research and see. But I believe you. I'm just saying. I don't know where he got the name from. Anyway, so because you says dude used to make fun of all Puerto Rican kids, call it Puerto Rock. Trust me. It's an NYC racial slur. He probably was called it and wants to do what rappers claim with the okay. I got you. You see, I didn't grow up in NYC. I was outside, so I never knew all that. But damn. Honestly, sure, but for some reason, still not as bad as the N-word. I'm just saying. It doesn't see. Look, this is just coming to light as far as it being used as a slur. But I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I guess I was never called Puerto Rock. So, because nobody thought I was Puerto Rican. That's the problem. Everybody thought I was black. That's why. So I'm the N-word. You know what I mean? So I got more than N-word. Puerto Rock. He looked like a Puerto Rican because he is. He looks more like Puerto Rican than I look like Puerto Rican. And ergo, therefore, I got the N, he got the P, whatever. But yeah, I believe he's in New York. But yeah, okay. I'll have to ask him actually. I'm trying to see, maybe I'll DM him because I don't want to put it out on blast like that. You know what I'm saying? That would be nice. I don't have a long history with the N word, but it was not used to make Puerto Ricans look good. Trust me on that. Oh, okay. No, I trust you definitely because like I said, I didn't have the Puerto Rican side because racist people are blind. Not to race. They're like, oh, you look like something, so ergo, therefore, you are, and blah, blah. Dude, it's so frustrating. That happened to my mom's, yo. We were I think we were at Great Adventure, when Great Adventure was your place you would go with your parent and your family. Like, yo, Great Adventure, we on a ride. We on a line to a ride. I'm going to say Puerto Rican chicks. I think they're Puerto Rican. They're in the back. They were in the back. They were cutting the line, just like walking through, right? And people were just letting them walk through. And they're just walking through, just cutting the line. My mom's just like, nah, son. She's just like sitting there. She's like, nah, son. I see what these bitches is doing. I see what they doing. So she put her hand up, boom, and blocked them. It's like, nah. Then they started talking shit in Spanish. I didn't even know what they said. And then she turned around and said, started, shut them up real quick. And they stayed right in the back of us. I was like, that's my mama. She know. Yeah. Because they ain't think that she's Puerto Rican. Because she's like she's a negro Ican. That's not even a word. You know, she's a black Puerto Rican. She's an Afro Puerto Rican. You know, you got Afro Cuban, Afro Rican, whatever. She looked like a black lady. But she's not. She 100% Puerto Rican. Her parents, she looked like her dad. Parents, chocolate, not super chocolate, darker than me. Actually, no, about the same now. Because I be in the sun all the time. Puerto Ricans were treated like Mexican or today back in the 80s when I was a kid. True. No, I believe that. Yeah. No. Yeah, definitely. Definitely in New York, you know, because like the city back when I was a kid, you know, I was on the outside looking in. So everything that I saw, like media and all that stuff, yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, nothing has changed, right? So the focus is on like, oh, the Mexicans, cause your boy, you know, he got all these fucking, he got all these mudflower, all these mudflower brainless people talking about, yeah, they're gonna come in and steal our job. I mean, that's not even like, okay, yeah, they're gonna get the money from the stimulus. Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? Do you know how it works? Do you know how hard it is to get money from the government? Are you insane? If you ain't got no papers, how you supposed to get anything? You better get cash. They're not giving out cash stimulus. So shut your ass. It's surprising to me how stupid how stupid a percentage of Americans are. I don't like calling people stupid, but come on, son. Now, we ain't gonna go political. I'm just saying, it's frustrating me. I'm too old for this shit. It's frustrating me. I get frustrated looking at people just like, okay, look. As it really just disappoints me, honestly. I'd be like, oh, I'm frustrated. I hate it, right? And then I get sad. I'm like, damn. I wish us humans were actually better. As a whole. I mean, look, you look at it like Bridget, she's very optimistical. And she sees the goodness. She sees the good stuff. I do too. And it's joyous when you see goodness in people, the good stuff in people. That's why Twitter ain't that serious. That's why the console war isn't real. It's just entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway. But when people, it's very hard to articulate because I want humans to evolve to a place where this stupid stuff that we're going through for 200 years now, at least, I think it's, I have to do the math, but long time we've been doing this, slavery's over, but not really thing. It's still going on. It's still going on. And I'm like, yo, okay, whatever. Okay, fine. So, video games. That's what we do. That's what we do, Kaijudo. Video games. Excuse me. Go not ho. Oh. Anyway. Video games. So, back to the Twitter, I don't know, the Twitter war. I don't want to pull up the tweets because, that's like, maybe that's a actual video that I do and actually post to YouTube once in 59 years. Like, oh, let me do an actual video and edit it and everything. But I don't think I'm going to, because I wanted to actually put a voice to the tweets that it was so bad. I was like, damn, really? I know they're like extreme people, and sometimes I say, okay, like Sony Ponies, like the real ones, are actually kind of crazy in a way. Like, wow, really? I mean, like I said, it's not that serious. This is video games. You prefer this, I prefer that. Let's all just prefer and play. And some are like, yo, they just spout. I used to compare Super Sony Ponies to Trump supporters in that they believe anything Sony says and they spout the same rhetoric and they make up their own narratives and lies to support their cause or, their lines, their way of thinking. And I'm like, okay, that's exactly the same as like crazy Trump supporters, but I don't want to say that every time because that makes me, it sounds bad because it is bad. But it's true. So I'm like, so I try to go back and forth with dude or dudette, who knows, them. And I couldn't break through. I couldn't break through that barrier, the impenetrable barrier of I'm a dumbass. The dumbass barrier. I couldn't break through. I was like, I'm Green Lantern, son. The power, the darkness to the light of the whatever he says, and then the big giant fist comes out with extra fists coming out the knuckles, and it goes boosh. Nothing. Couldn't break through the dumbassity barrier of power provided by the pony power barrier. So yeah, like I said, another person jumped in. I started convoing with that, but I just totally forgot about the other person. And so now I knew. I don't want to say I made a friend on Twitter, but yeah, I followed this person. And they followed me back, and I was like, oh, that's nice, another person. And honestly, I was just like fooling around, just I posted it to like P Rock, and I posted it to J Dub. And then this dude just jumps out. I was like, I don't know who this. I'm not following this person. They just jump in, right? I was like, okay, let's go. And I made one new Twitter friend. We following each other, and a whole bunch of people liking stuff. Like, oh, like what I said, like what this person said. I'm like, yay, we're happy. And we were just talking about, yeah, Game Pass is pretty dope. It's kind of like Netflix. They doing okay with that. The Bethesda deal, that's pretty dope too. Oh, but Sony got some bangers coming. Yeah, y'all. I mean, they got God of War and they got Horizon Forbidden West. I'm like, yo, those are gonna be the biggest ones. That's what I said. It's like God of War 2 and for Horizon Forbidden West. They're gonna be the bangers, the best games. I mean, I just said that as a blanket statement. I don't know. I'm not making a game, so I will presume that. I will assume that, right? Hopefully they are for Sony. Not really for Sony, but for the developers. When I like hope that a game does well, it really is for the developers because they're the people who are making this stuff happen for us. Sony, they're the boss, right? But it's like there's a job, right? It's like I was gonna say Disney. Let's do Disney. I'm gonna say it's like not Disney now. I don't know how Disney now is now, but back in the day, like in the 80s and 90s, when they were pumping out Little Mermaid and all that stuff, right? Aladdin. I used to want to be a Disney animator until I found out, oh, Disney is like super strict. You can't do you can't breathe the wrong way on the wrong day in the wrong season in the wrong city because Disney will know and you're fired. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I mean, I'm not gonna be robbing banks or nothing, but I mean, that seems a little draconian. A little bit of and I don't think I want to work at a place like that. And I'm a young kid thinking about where I want to work, thinking about, oh, I want to be this. I want to be a thing. I'm dreaming that I get to draw all day. And as a kid, that happens. Oh man, come on. Are you serious? We got a little hiccup. We got a little hiccup today. And we're back. Okay. Sorry about that. We had a little hiccup. On the blick up. So we back now. I was rolling too. But anyway, I was like, yo, as a kid, having second thoughts about a career. That's major. That's like, okay, right? And that's why I didn't, dip with Disney. That's why my ideas of what I wanted to do changed. And that's how, like, I could say, okay, Disney back in the day was like the parent company. They were like, but the artists and the directors and the voices and all the people creating the art for Disney, mwah, chef's kiss, yo. They were making them bangers. They were like, yo, give me Aladdin, please. Excuse me, I'm getting choked up. Give me Aladdin. You know what I'm saying? They were making those bangers for us. Despite Disney's draconian ways or authoritarian ways back in the days. Despite that, they were still making bangers. And that's how I feel about Sony. You could look at Sony, the Sony that is in charge of PlayStation, and be like, I don't really like them, but their games is dope. That's how Disney was back in the day. And that's how I feel about like Sony on that side. And I'm like, why can't Sony actually be better? Like Sony, who is in charge of not Insomniac. You know what I'm saying? Not Naughty Dog. But you know what I'm saying? Not the artists making the art. Unless they like all races. They're not. But I'm just saying, shouldn't be that either. You should be a nice person. And then make the art. And then, that's the whole thing about like J.K. Rowling. Everybody's like, yeah, nah, we done with her. She canceled. She been canceled. I mean, still making billions of dollars, but she's canceled, but still making billions, So I'm like, am I supposed to hate Harry Potter now? Or, I mean, what's the rules? Bridget likes Harry Potter. A lot of people like Harry Potter. I think it's okay. I wanted to ask Bridget. You're in chat. Hey, Bridget. Why do you like Harry Potter? What specifically and exactly do you like about Harry Potter? And it doesn't have to be one thing. It'd be two. It'd be like, I like the accents. Oi, bloody L. Like the youthfulness of the characters, learning, growing up and stuff. I like the castle. It's a castle school. That's great. She doesn't like witches, so she can't say that. So that should be a minus. That should be like, I don't like that because witches in it. But she's not. That's not. I never heard that. Dobby? Is it Dobby? I don't know. What you gotta explain it. You gotta explain to me why you like Harry Potter the way you like Harry Potter, because Harry Potter. No, because I just wanted to know. I'm curious, like what specific aspects of the story, setting, characters, blah blah blah, make you like it. Because I'm like, it's cool, it's interesting. It's like what for me, why I like it. I think Prisoner of Azkaban is the best one of the series. Only in the movies. I haven't read the books. Only because your boy Alfonso Cuarón directed it. I think he directed it. It's the best directed. The music is awesome because when you give John Williams something to score for, yo, he does his thug thizzle. When you give him juicy, beautiful imagery in film form, movie, he will give you bangers, son. Bangers. Even though a lot of John Williams music from Star Wars and all that stuff was derivative, which is, I mean, all music, honestly, but his is real close to some stuff. These dudes on YouTube came up. It's like, yo, check this out. And they're like, and they are, I think they're like violinists or something. So they're like, check this out, and they said, so they study classical music. They play classical music in pieces, so they know about all the history and all of the, the directors, the composers and such. And so they played John Williams, and then they played the original. And I was like, yo, that's mad close. And I ran into that years and years ago. I was like, not me personally, but I heard John Williams stuff, right? And I was listening to like classical radio on like NPR or something. And something came up. I was like, yo, yo, that sound like Star Wars that sound like John Williams. What that hood? And they're like, oh yes, that was Johann Sebastian Bach. It wasn't Bach, but I'm just saying, that was Dvorak's trees in the desert lake swimming pool. Circa 1792. I don't even know when he was alive. No, he was alive in the 20th century, I think. Dvorak, yeah. Anyway, I'm probably wrong, so don't. No corrections. So that was my first hint of, oh, John Williams ain't the man that, he ain't the super genius dude. He's just kind of derivative, which is cool. It's still good stuff, but I'm just saying, I thought he was coming up with this stuff like out the thin air of his creative brain, but honestly, he just did some research. He just Googled a few pieces, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that right there. Let me change right there. So I was like, okay. I mean, he's basically like sampling. It's like he's sampling stuff just like how producers do. Yo, not the tangent. Let's go into this tangent before we get into the Bethesda-thon. I've been watching videos of this one dude called what's his name? Obliterate? Not Obliterate. I forgot his name, but he's a producer. So he took a toilet flush and he made a song out of it. He took his cat meowing and he made a song out of the cat meow. Granted, it wasn't just the cat meow. He put drums and stuff in it, instruments. So, but he's more like I think he's more like a, not, I want to say club producer, but he does, wow, why did I just forget the genre of music? Dubstep. He does dubstep. He does other stuff. He said he did a trap track, and I listened to it. And I was like, that's not trap. No, that wasn't him. I'm sorry. I listened to like a kind of a trap playlist on YouTube. It wasn't trap. I was like, this is EDM. What are you talking about, trap? You know what trap is? I just learned what trap was like yesterday. I was like, I know trap is rap first. It is a urban, inner city, whatever racial type of adjective you want to apply to it. It's black people music. Let's say it that way, even though it's not actually, but yeah. But it for as I understand it, it pertains to a place, I guess a place or location where drugs are sold that would be considered or known as a trap in certain circles because the popo gonna be there, so it's a trap, saying. So it's trap music, I think. Not too sure. But that was like kind of the gist. Oh, it's like a drug dealing slash popo term kind of thing. I was like, okay, sure. And listen, like thinking back of the history of trap, and they said it started in the 90s. So I'm like, okay, first of all, I got in South Florida in 92. So the trap, I did not hear the word trap. It was all booty music, basically. It was Two Live Crew. It was freaking Uncle Al. It was 95 South. Not really, but they were the commercial. Because like, oop, there it is, the real song, not that freaking commercial, Saturday morning cereal version that they did. That was so bad. Doom, doom. I'm like, ugh. I mean, look, I never liked the booty musics. I mean, I liked what the dancers did to it, because yes, thank you. But I never liked the music per se. First of all, lyrics garbage, hooks garbage. They're just, it's not good. The use of certain 808s, analog instruments, not feeling it, and that's, I think that's like mainly the main correlation between that 90s South Florida booty music, Two Live Crew stuff, and trap today is the instrumentation, the usage. What instruments are you going to use? You're going to use an 808, you're going to use a clap for a snare, and you're going to use some tinny ass hi-hat. That's what you're going to do, all analog. And I'm like, that's the only kind of through line I see from then to now. and of course the audience that it serves. It's not the same music per se. One's for clubs and dancing, and one's, I'm gonna say, I'm just sama gay, I'm gonna ban the jow, I'm a kasama moray, I'm in the, that's, and now people take, rappers trying to get melodic with it, and I'm like, okay, that's a step in the right direction, but the melodies is like, I ain't gonna say they're whack, but if you're gonna melodize, you gotta come with it, because if your melody's whack, it's whack. If you got a good melody, then you probably gotta get a song. You probably got a good song, regardless of the actual instrumentation. But of course, that's gonna be hand in hand too, because like you look at Post Malone, even though he does trap, he does other stuff too, but he does some trap. It's trap, commercial, pop music, but whatever, he does some trap. That Rockstar song, that's a trap track, but he's got melodies, so, and I don't hate him, I'm like, oh snap, Post Malone, I gotta get that. Nah, I'm like, all right, he's good, he's all right, he's not offensive to me. I'm not gonna go out and like stop, like, oh, hold up, my boy's song is on. Nah, I'm like I'm changing the station because I got an old ass car. I got old ass car radio, so I'm like, I gotta like push it and it goes click. It like actually clicks in. Anyway, what the booty dancers did. Ha! Yo, that was Bridget. Bridget just said that. I'm gonna say it again. Bridget says in the YouTube chat, what the booty dancers did. LOL. How come she sound all ghetto right there? How come Bridget sounds super ghetto talking? I bet you her head's like, what the booty dancers did. She said she was from the ghetto in Deerfield, so I guess that you can't take a girl. You can take a girl out the ghetto, but you can't take a Bridget out the ghetto out the Bridget. That's right. Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, nah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, look, just go back. You're on YouTube. Go and watch one of Two Love Crew's videos. That's what they did. That's similar to what they did, because they can't actually show what they did on those videos. But you can use your imagine. I came from New York, a fresh young. I wasn't even 18 yet. I was 17. I graduated early. Well, I started school early in the beginning, so I graduated early. So I was 17 when I graduated. So I came down here. I can't do nothing. I can't go to the clubs because it's like, you gotta be 18, son. You can't come. So I'm like, beep-a-doo-ba-doo. I guess I'm going to the movies, kicking rocks, because I can't go to the clubs. First time I went to the club, I was like, what? Huh? What? What is this? What's this contest they having? It's crazy. I was like, yo, I don't think they have this in New York. Granted, I didn't go to many clubs in New York, but I was like, yo, this is something, I don't know, whatever. It wasn't a scripted club, and nothing. It was a regular dance club. I'm like, yo, y'all on something else down here, so whatever. All right. That was when I used to dance. I don't dance no more. I don't dance no more. Too old for that shit. Anyway. Bethesda, Microsoft, oh my God. Now, another part of that Twitter argument I had was that I said the biggest deal in gaming and blah, 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 right? And they're like, no, you're wrong. It was Tencent who bought blah, blah. I was like, okay, sure, monetarily, but that's not what I'm talking about. Is anybody talking about Tencent right now? Talking about, remember that deal that they did with that when Tencent bought blah, blah, blah company? Nobody's saying nothing about that. It's about zeitgeist. It's about the amount of stuff that Microsoft sucked into. It's like enveloped as like the big blobulation monster at the end of Inside, legs and arms sticking out of it. That's what Microsoft did. And then so we watched the round table. I'm gonna say this. That round table, that round table was one of the best kind of let's just sit down here and just talk and have fun and stuff, right? And it was kind of an illustration of, excuse me. It was an illustration. Oh my gosh. Stop with the freaking Winter Soldier spoilers, you son of a you can spell table. Is that it? Yeah, it's the one. Yeah, we'll go back to the beginning. Wait, is it gonna start? Is it? Yeah, okay. We'll just play through. So I was like, oh yeah, rest in peace, Robert Altman, husband of Wonder Woman. Boop. So I was the one part when I was watching the whole thing, right? I was like, okay, yeah, Bethesda games. I like Skyrim, is pretty dope. We're gonna get to the Elder Scrolls games in a second because I got something to say about Morrowind because I played that. Because they dumped all the games on Game Pass like that next day. I was like, oh damn! I was like, let me download what I gotta delete. Let me delete some stuff, download. But besides the games, which are important, them sitting down, an important thing that I noticed, right? It wasn't like, oh, this guy's a super dope game maker or they have this IP and oh my gosh, yeah, video games. It was them sitting in that, semicircle, that, the little round table. They're sitting there and, Aaron Greenberg says, blah, 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 yo, Pete Hines. And then Pete Hines takes it away and he takes it and he controls the show, which is good because I am going to say this and I'm going to make Aaron Greenberg very angry, but I'm going to say this. Pete Hines is a better PR dude than Aaron Greenberg. As far as marketing and all that stuff, Pete Hines is a little bit, he feels more genuine. I don't know if he is, but it really is about perception and presentation, right? So sometimes I look at Aaron Greenberg and it feels like to me that he's trying too hard. Remember that first last summer when Xbox did the first thing and they said, oh, we're gonna show gameplay as Assassin's Creed Valhalla, right? And they didn't. He was in there with his garbage 72p camera, garbage mic. The background's all messed up. He's got like a Xbox fridge in the background trying to make it a joke. And he's like, and it's all messed up and crazy looking. And I'm like, okay, first of all, he's too hyped. I mean, I understand you being excited. It doesn't feel, it's like, when something is hyped, when something is hyped to an individual, you don't need to be hyped. You don't need to portray like you don't need to give off the hype energy to make hype. Something is hype is like, oh, what? Now people taking the information into their brains are like, wait, what does this mean? Like Xbox buying Bethesda. You don't need to say anything but that. Like Xbox might, wait, what? And is that true? First you're like, is that what? Is that true? Everybody, how much? What? 7.5? Huh? And then your mind's clickety clacking. You know what I mean? The hype builds inside your brain because you're like, so you don't need to be like, oh my God, it's so good. When I see, well, that's just me, right? When I see people that are just extra hype for no good reason, and then what they're saying or what they're doing or what the product that they're giving us is like not there. But you see how he does that with his hand in his head, blah blah. I know that's the thing that he does. That's his mannerisms. So I'm not gonna fault him for that. But when he did that, he's doing it now, right? But it was subdued. It was cool. But when he did it before, he was on like 29. He was like, bah, but the bar. I was like, okay, you gonna do far, dog? Man, slow down. Slow down a little bit. Slow. Look, Pete's like, yes, I'd like to represent, and there's Philip Spencer's over there, and then I was gonna say Peter Hines, but that's me. What am I talking about? So there's there's Todd. Todd is short for Todd. Hold up, what is Todd short for? I don't. That's a short name, right? Okay, Phil was a little crazy with the knee slap though. Toddward, right? Okay. What is Todd short for? Oops. Todd is short for. There's no. Theodric? Huh? Oh wait, let me see. I just checking on the etymology. Todd is the best name ever because no one forgets your name. It's short, sweet. Says okay. In English, the meaning of the name Todd is fox. Todd is a Scottish nickname meaning a clever and wily person. So, since it has a particular meaning, it's of its own. It's not short for anything. Okay. I'll accept that. Anyway, so the thing that got me, the thing that I was like, okay, am I hyped? And I think it was a little bit more than, it wasn't, okay, I don't want to say it was more than hype. It was about the direction of the kind of, I don't want to say ideology, but the thinking of game studios, how you treat them, all these people who are working for you, under you, when I'm speaking about like Phil Spencer and Satya Nadella, and the relationships and how happy your employees can be and will be and all these things, right? And so them sitting around this round table, and when I think they introduced Todd, or they got to a point where Todd was talking, and he started he said something, and he made a joke about like how Microsoft is like the overlord basically, and he was trying to pimp out like Office 360 or something. It was some like funny little stupid little joke, but it was funny because he was like, did they do that right? Or he was kind of playing into it, like how people like kind of see Microsoft as this giant corporation, which they are, but he was playing into that, and it was very funny. And I was like, you know what? Okay, that was like the icebreaker. I was like, you know what? I have a good feeling about this move in particular because Todd Howard is always a charismatic type of speaker, right? So when he went up there, when he was talking about whatever E3, I think 2019, when he was talking about Fallout 76, and he was like, yeah, we mess up, I don't know, our games don't come out exactly right, and he was funny, but he was true and all that stuff. And they launched it, and it was worse than what he had even predicted or said. And he said it that day at this round table. He's like, yeah, Fallout 76 launched horribly. We messed up every way we could. And then the first thing I did was call Phil Spencer, help, what do we do? And then he's like, he pointed us to people who can help us. And I was like, okay, I didn't know those things. I didn't know that Bethesda was so close with Microsoft in that respect that they were basically working together as if they were already part of the family, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? They were like, oh, I'm going to take care of you, but I haven't adopted you yet. Something like that, So when that whole exchange happened, when Todd Howard made the joke and everybody was laughing, I was like, okay, that's pretty good. Like I said, that broke the ice. And that made like when they say all these things about, oh, we're happy and freedom and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's corporate speak because you got to say that kind of sort of. But it felt more genuine because of the fact that, all of that, the funny stuff happened before that, So I have a good feeling about the future of, Xbox with Bethesda, with the ZeniMax. I mean, they dumped all those games on a Game Pass. I started playing them. The first game I tried was Morrowind. Let's get to that real quick. Morrowind came out originally on the Xbox OG in 2000 and... I Actually, I don't know what year it came out. I thought it was 2005. It might have been early 2005. Not sure though. And it's an old game. The music's good, but actually the version that I was playing was the definitive edition, so it had high resolution. I don't know about the textures. Maybe they're a little bit better. I have no idea because I never played the original, but the music's good, so maybe they replaced some of the... I don't actually know. I mean, I don't see why they had to because it's almost disc-based anyway. But I played that, and I said, their next game was Oblivion after this? I was like, the jump from Morrowind, from the, 45 minutes I played of Morrowind, and I said, I cannot play this anymore. This is game preservation. This is what this is. This is not, I want to play this because I have nostalgia. I don't have nostalgia. If you're going into something new like that, I know the graphics is going to be whatever, but, I mean, that's, oof. So I'm like, yeah, this is Xbox OG for real. And I was like, I can't. I tried. I can't. I mean, the voice acting is actually not as bad, but the bit rate on the voices is so compressed. It sounds like you. But like I said, that's just a whatchamacallit. Excuse me. A victim of the technology at the time. I didn't say that right, but that's the technology they had. So that's what happened. And so I played Morrowind. I was like, okay. And I was thinking about Oblivion. Oblivion was the first Bethesda game I ever played. That was the first open world. That was the first Elder Scrolls I ever played. And it blew my mind. Maybe it's nostalgia for that too. I'm going to go and play that again. I don't think it's going to be nostalgia though. Because I've been playing Skyrim a little bit. And I put some mods up in there. And I was like, yo, this is still okay. I mean, years. What's it been, 10 years? More than 10 years, right? I don't know how long. It's been so long since Skyrim came out, and it's still good. I was like, I mean, the combat ain't that good. Like the first person stuff, I usually go third person. Sometimes I do first person. It depends on what I gotta do. But I'm like, yeah. Because I remember having trouble with the combat. I was like, I hate this combat. But compared to Morrowind, I was like, woof. Morrowind can kick rocks. Oblivion, I need to play it again. I remember it vaguely, but Skyrim is the jam. I was like, yeah, man, as old as this game is, it's still good. And with the mods that you could put in it to make all the people pretty, makes it increases its value, and it's not value, but it increases its worth to me. It's allurability. Is that a word? To me, many percentages up. Many numbers upward from what it's 0 or whatever, minus 1, 2 or whatever. So I was like, all right, okay. They're if you look at the lineage of Elder Scrolls games on Xbox, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, they got so much better each time. I mean, Morrowind to Oblivion, way better. Oblivion to Skyrim, oh snap, this is really good too. So I'm like, okay, so Skyrim to whatever's next, like, it's gonna be bananas. And especially the fact that they know that their animation and their facial animation and characters, stuff like that, is like hot garbage. And they said, yeah, we're working on that. So I'm like, okay, they acknowledged that they had a problem. That's good, because if they were like, yeah, we're gonna make another one, and then the same garbage, I'm like, nah, y'all, nope. That's like Telltale when they're using that same old ass engine from The Walking Dead season 1, episode 1 till the very end. It's like, yo, that engine is hot garbage, man. You gotta do something with your engine, son. It's like, we like the engine. Of course, they don't exist anymore, so there you go. That's what happens when you do that. But yeah, so I downloaded another game from the Bethesda overloads, the Bethesda dump truck long hauler. I got what is it? Dishonored, the first one, which was a 360 game, I believe. But this one's the definitive edition that came out for the Xbox One, I believe. And that's a pretty good game. It's like a 360 game. It's like when you play in these games, you're like, okay, that's an Xbox One game. That's a 360 game. You could tell, like, I mean, the animations, like the facial animation and design. I know this is a specific art art style, kind of character design and stuff, and aesthetic throughout the game. And the actual aesthetic, like the people and all that stuff, is cool. You expect it to be a whole bunch of British voices in Dishonored. Ain't no British voice. It's all American dude. Like, yo, what's up, son? Yo, I'm going to rob you right now, okay? Bloke. It's like someone British wrote it, but they got some American dude to say the words. That's like, this is weird, but I guess it works. So when people are talking like, okay, I mean, it doesn't suck you into the aesthetic, because the aesthetic is straight like kind of like steampunk, kind of sort of anarchy, not anarchy, but magic stuff, alchemy. That's the word, alchemy. And it's like some people from Brooklyn and stuff like, hey, I'm from Yonkers. What are you doing on the street right now? Where's your hall pass? What are you doing? What? It's kind of, I mean, there's no hall pass, but it's like, hey, bub, step back or I'm gonna beat your face in. There's one dude in like a hallway just walking around that alley. He was just, he was a thug. That's what his title came up with as. He's like, hey, step back. And just the last warning, I'm gonna punch your face in. Then he said, okay, you want it and you're gonna get it. And he started coming at me, like pull out his little knife or something. I was like, all right, stab. I killed him real quick. I was like, yo, look, you know I'm an assassin, right? I'm an assassin your ass. Ass is in my title. Your ass is dead. Anyway. Dishonored, the first one. It's a 360 game, but it's good. I want to get through that and then go and play the second one. Even though, like, critically speaking, it wasn't like, I guess it didn't sell as many copies as the first one, but I'm like, I don't care if it's a better game, so shut up. So I got that, and I got that, and I mean, we will talk about there is no elephant in the room, but Phil Spencer basically shut it down. He shut down the hopes and dreams of an entire generation of ponies with 2 sentences. And I was like, okay. And some people like Ramu Death on Twitter, who's Tony Polanco. He has a podcast. I totally forgot the name of his podcast. But he's on Game Attack Radio sometimes. He's a cool dude. I don't know him personally, so I'm not going to say. But I'm going to say from what I've heard him speak about and things and tweet about, he's a cool dude, right? Not a pony, not a bot, just a gamer, just like most of us. And he said about what Phil Spencer said in his roundtable when the word legacy came up. He was confused, Tony Polanco, and he said, what does legacy mean? I don't understand. And I'm like, okay, look. I mean, I understand people are trying to kind of pick apart every word for clarity, right? And as the boss of Xbox, it's his job not to say wrong things, mislead, or anything like that. He needs to be very specific and accurate with what he says. Now, it is not the fault of Phil that people misconstrue his verbiage, right? So when he was talking about, like, think about it. The only time when you think about legacy titles, he didn't say legacy titles, but he was talking about games, right? In the context of what he was saying in that sentence, he was talking about when we have previous contractual or legacy. Contractual meaning a game. We have a contract for a game. That's how that works. Contracts are per title, per project, right? You take that context and you apply it to legacy game. It's not that hard, but I can see how you can get confused and just be like, now I'm not trying to diss Tony or nothing. Like I said, he's cool, but for everybody else who's trying to hold on to that edge with the fingertips, like legacy, that means the games that used to be all the ones in the future from that same series. No, that's not what legacy means. In this context is talking about the games that are already there. The games that exist there and that have existed there. And like from PS4 to PS5, if it's a games as a service, which is more of the legacy that he was talking about. He was talking about the Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. Those online services games. That is a legacy, not, hey, there's a future game in a franchise. That's not how that works. That's like saying, oh, Spider-Man is going to be on everything because the old Spider-Mans were on everything. So legacy, it's got to be on everything, right? Shut up. That's not what it means. So stop it. so dumb. I'm like, yo, come on, son. I'm looking at Twitter. I'm laughing my ass off because these ponies are falling apart. They're like, and now they're trying to be like, oh, Bethesda games are so hot garbage, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, y'all, man, y'all are just so salty right now. It's karma, right? Because, for years, it's always been Xbox ain't got no games, blah, 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 ain't got no exclusives, move the goalposts wherever you want to. Ponies been trolling bots for eons. And now the shoe has fallen. The shoe is on the other foot. I don't know where that saying comes from. It's way before me. The tables have turned. I don't know where that one's from either. Anyway, you get it. Now you feel it. Now you feel what we've been feeling, us Xbox players, for years. That you Sony ponies have been so gracious to give us. Now we shall return the favor. Now you shall feel what has been felt for years. Doesn't feel good, does it? I mean, you still have a few titles to hang on to. You're like, yeah, we still got, and we still got, and we still got. And that's true. But as far how I'm seeing it, right? I'm like, okay. And I was trying to rack my brain. I was like, who else is making Western RPGs? Right? That's my first question. Because what happened was Microsoft was like the king. It was the shooter box. That was the Xbox. The Xbox was the shooter box, and they were trying to, it's the shooter box. You only get, right? Okay, we're the shooter box. I think Xbox kind of took the racing thing too. I mean, Gran Turismo's they've been in a coma for years. So I don't know what. And every time you talk about Gran Turismo, ponies be like, yeah, but look, the franchise sold more than blah. I'm like, okay, still not a better game. I mean, you could be like, it sold so many, but guess what? Still not a better game. I mean, that's subjective. But I would rather play Forza Horizon any day. Forza Horizon as a franchise, my favorite franchise. Forza Horizon 4 and 3. I'm going to say 3 and 4. I put them together because they're so good. They're so close and they're so good. My favorite games of last gen. I am awaiting the arrival of Forza Horizon 5 because the pedigree is there. Ponies talk about pedigree as far as, the games and like Naughty Dog and that's true, right? But you also have to look at the games like, okay, Last of Us Part 2 as a crafted piece of art made by humans. It is excellent. Except for the writing. And I say this, except the writing, except for the pacing, right? So, once again, subjective. Some people liked it. Me, I'm not a pony. So I can look at it. I'm not looking at it as an Xbox, I gotta hate it because it's Sony exclusive. No, I'm looking at it as a story, right? I'm looking at it as, if this was a movie, which it basically is, would I enjoy it? I'm like, look, all they had to do was order some stuff around in different places so that Joel didn't go out Joel had to die, period. I have no problem with Joel dying. I have no problem with Abby killing Joel. That's not the problem. The problem is how it happened. It like makes his brother look like an idiot and makes kind of Joel look like kind of a dummy too. That actually isn't the problem either, because whatever Joel did didn't matter. Whatever Joel did in this game didn't matter because of what he did in the first game that sealed his fate. So I was like, I'm fine with Joel dying. I'm fine with Abby killing Joel because the revenge. I'm like, yep, that makes sense. But the order that it happened, you were not sympathetic to Abby at all because you saw him killed. You saw her kill Joel right off the bat. It was too early. I'm like, yo, you gotta build a relationship and a rapport from the player to the character for this character, Abby. If they had done that, I'd be like, yo, I like Abby. Oh, snap. Abby is the daughter of the doctor that Joel killed. Oh, snap. And then boom. And she kills him. And then you're like, yeah, that was good, man. I wasn't expecting that. Or maybe it seemed a little too tropey. But how they did it wasn't any better. It was just like, oh, that's it. It was almost worse because it's like, oh, this is Abby, and then you're like, who's this? I don't want to. Or what do they do it? You're Ellie and da 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 da, and then Abby kills Joel in front of Ellie, and then you switch to playing Abby, who you hate, and it's like, is that the purpose? You hate her, and then you're gonna learn to love her and like her because she's a human too? No, you establish the like part first, and then you say, oh snap, I like Abby, but Joel killed her pops. Damn, what? Now you have the player like, oh shoot, okay, am I team Joel or am I team Abby? Because yo, if Joel and my pop, I would kill him too. So I could see how Abby, yeah, and I like Abby, yeah. And then you're like, well, but Joel, he's trying to save his little daughter, girl, so I got a daughter too, so I can see how Joel, blah, 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 right? So depending on the person playing, you can get it both ways. But how they did it turned everybody off. It's like, okay, I hate Abby because she killed my favorite character. Joel's gone. He had to die, but still, he's kind of selfish and all that stuff, right? So you get nothing. You don't get the Abby sympathizer. You don't get the Joel father analog. You get nothing. And I'm like, okay, look, I'm not a writer, but I know that you need to connect with your audience. When you're telling a story, when you're singing a song, writing a song, lyrics, melodies, all these things matter when you want to connect to the persons ingesting your art. And when you give them the dessert first, when you read the last page of your book first and expect them to enjoy the rest of the book and go, okay, here's the beginning. It's like, no, there has to be something else. This can't be the actual, huh? And so the game ends up being Ellie being the bad guy. That's what it is, right? And so I see that, but she could still be the bad guy. Just change like at the end, towards the end, in the third act, right? I would say at the end of the second act, Abby kills Joel, right? It's like, oh, you like in first act you play as Ellie, second, or they could do first act is Abby, like, oh yeah, Abby, yay, and then maybe Abby meets Ellie, right, and they're friends. It's like, oh yeah, we're friends, yay, I'm cool, yay, right? And then Abby finds out, oh, Joel's that motherfucker that killed my daddy, and then boom, everything jumps off, right? And then Ellie's like, oh snap, wait, what happened? What happened? He didn't tell what? And then Abby just kills that fool, boosh. And then Ellie's like, what did you do? Why are you doing that? Oh my gosh, I hate you now. I'm gonna kill you. Cause she's already broken. She's a broken person. So, I mean, there had to be a better way to tell that story. There had to be a better way to tell a story. And even like the end, I guess that like the end where they fight and Ellie's, they're gonna fight and Abby bites off her fingers and all that stuff, and it's like, then she lets him go eventually, and they don't kill each other. That still could happen. The ending still can happen as it did. It was just the Joel, how they handled Joel, how he died, when he died. That's the problem. And, that's it. That's all. That's it and that's all. I mean, I'm like, yo. It's... I don't even remember how I got on this stupid topic. But the Bethesda. The vitriol of the ponies on Twitter is hilarious. The kind of shift, I think, in what is the perception of video games or Xbox, or I mean, I've been seeing a lot of positive Xbox, Bethesda. Oh my gosh, this is cool. I don't see the last PlayStation story I saw. Hey Bonds, how you doing? Hope everything's good with you. Boop boop boop. The last PlayStation story I saw was about PlayStation working on some blockchain for multiplayer games or something. I'm like, what? Really? That's the story. That's the PlayStation story. I mean, the video games is like the foundation of video games is shaking like this. It's like, oh, yo, a big thing just happened. You know, I mean, yes, money was big, but as far as like what this means, oh man, and in context of the console wars, right? PC doesn't matter. It doesn't matter on the PC side, but it's like, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna work on our multiplayer servers or something. I'm like, well, huh? That's not even. I saw that. I was like, I'm like, not even. I had to giggle and laugh, but I was like, usually I would like some kind of like little technology story or something. I'm like, oh, well, I wonder what that does. That's interesting. I'm like, no, that's not even. How y'all got nothing? Y'all supposed to be on the. Y'all supposed to be the alpha gamers, the alpha console. The best. Oh, PlayStation is the best. It's on top. The only reason why PlayStation 5 is selling more is because they made more consoles. That's it. That's not something to be proud of. I mean, that's just lucky that you made more consoles. I mean, lucky is not really. They got into production earlier. So that's it. So when you're bragging about that, I was like, okay, well, I mean, everything's selling out. It's not like I was looking for graphic cards. I was like, yeah, these resellers are out of their damn mind. I'm like, really? Like $1,200 for like a 3070? Yeah, no, not gonna do that. I'm waiting for a long. I'm gonna go to Best Buy every day and look, and I want to pick it up physically. I'm like, oh, this is 3070 right down the scoop. You know, I was thinking like, I need to build a new PC, and honestly, I need a new graphics card first. And I have to go NVIDIA because I use Blender. So blah, blah. Anyway, Bond says, I saw the lineup on Xbox. You don't like it? What? You don't like it? I mean, here's the thing about the Bethesda thing, right? A lot of people are like, oh, man, look at all those games, right? You forget. It's 8 studios, right? And yes, they have an IP. They have a catalog of games that they have made and will probably continue to make some. But they're 8 studios, which could have multiple studios within each studio. So like we can just say 2 studios per bigger. Like Obsidian has more than one team. You know, they have a smaller team working on Grounded. They got another team working on Avowed. They got another team working on Outer Worlds too, I think. I don't remember. You know, so multiple teams. If we say 2, that's 18 teams making games. And that's just the Bethesda joints. You know what I'm saying? That's just that side. But that's an assumption that's a little bit far-fetched because, you know, the smaller teams like Ghostwire Tokyo, I actually don't know how big they are, but not Ghostwire Tokyo is the game. Wow, I just totally forgot the name of the Japanese studio that Xbox has now. That's okay. But the amount of we're not even counting new IPs that will be coming because studios always making new stuff, right? They make the old stuff and they make new stuff too. Unless you're Insomniac, which it's kind of bad I feel bad for Insomniac only because they're going to be stuck in Spider-Man land for a minute. Because it's like, yo, Spider-Man makes a lot of money. Y'all might get sick of Spider-Man and want to do something else, but you got to make Spider-Man. I'm sorry, you have to make Spider-Man. Oh man, I hope I didn't break my screen. You might ask yourself, why is your screen like near the floor? Because I'm dumb. There is only a few games I would play. Wolfenstein. Yeah, I gotta play those too. I'm kind of going through them. Like I said, I was playing. I tried Morrowind. Don't. I'll go back to Oblivion just for a quick minute, just to look at it and say, okay, yeah, I remember that. I'm on Dishonored. I'm gonna play through Dishonored 1 and 2. I'm taking my time. I'm just gonna go through. There's plenty of games there, man. Then once I finish Dishonored, then I'm gonna go to Wolfenstein. And see what's up with that. I mean, for me, it's Starfield. I never liked Fallout. It's really because of the aesthetic and the environment. I was like, it's a little too gray and green for me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I want something that tickles my futurist's bone. I want to see spaceships, and I want to all those things that Gene Roddenberry basically lives in his mind. And he was like one of the few sci-fi creators of my youth that weren't actually a racist bastard. It's like, I'm like, why is Gene Roddenberry, rest in peace, why was he the one? I mean, he was great, and he made Star Trek, but I'm like looking at all these other guys, I'm like, why are you huh? Never mind. It's like the Cthulhu guy is like, okay, he's racist. That's whatever. I mean, is he racist, or he's just pointing out the racism? Who cares? Anyway, back to the thing we're talking about. So, like, I'm working through these games. I did play a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online. That's what's on the screen right now. It's okay, but I don't think I'm into MMOs like that. You know what I mean? I don't have a group of people to play with per se, because I don't have a crew where I go and I'm gonna play all the time. But I just kind of play whenever I feel like it, which is the best way to play, because I only say that because whatever your mood is going to dictate how you feel when you play a game. Like, if you're angry and you just had a fight with your girlfriend or your wifey or whatever, and you go try to sit down and play a game, you're not going to be in the mood. Unless the game is murdering fools or something, get your aggressions out, then maybe. But if you play games to relax, like, Grounded is kind of a relaxing type of Zen game, except when you run into them wolf spiders, they bastards. But other than that, actually I played like 2 seconds of it, and a mosquito started chasing me. I was like, and I think the bees are bad too, but anyway. So Bond says, don't forget Gene's wife. She also helped with his works. True that. Yeah, I mean, anyway, I don't talk about the sci-fi creators. But sci-fi for me, or futurist type like I always watched just like futurists from like the 70s and the 60s and the 70s, where they're like they have money, so they build a house that has like automatic doors like Star Trek, where it goes and it opens up, and they have all these crazy designs in their house, and I'm like, that's cool. But then I think about technology now, and it's like, yeah, the future is here. I think what we're missing is a lot of it is aesthetics. So I think the electric cars are coming to the point where it feels like we're in the future. Like, you look at like some electric cars, like, okay, that looks like a future car. Yeah, that's cool. Some designs, not electric cars, but like regular cars, I'm like, what century are you in? Why your car look like hot garbage? Not a lot of them. I mean, a lot of them are I know we're in car design right now, but a lot of the aesthetic of cars right now, especially SUVs, are big kind of grill face with little tiny LED, squinty eyes. You know what I mean? That's the design language of a lot of cars. Blazer, Kia, freaking Toyota, all of them. Nissan, they all doing the same thing. So I'm like, okay, design language, schmangwich, doesn't matter. But the futurist aesthetic is starting to feel more of a reality now in more commercial products, as far as, well, like vehicles, one. Phones, not so much, because phones are just a glass rectangle, so you can't really go deviate from that too much. But Bond says, Pluto TV site have a backlog of some of those shows you just spoke of. Cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. But yeah, the futurist stuff is interesting to me only on the design aspect, and that's why I like good, subjectively good architectural design and industrial design, because it's like, oh wow, when you look at like certain things, like, wait, how does that even stand up? That's so cool, and it looks cool. When there's some, like, we got a Cinemark like right next to us, And I go there every time when we used to go there, every time I went there, they have these beams that come out from the roof. And they're giant wooden beams, and they have like a ornate curvature to the to like the quote the 45 the bracing brackets and stuff. Not brackets, but the bracing poles, whatever they call. And I was looking at it, I was like, wow, that somebody had to design that, and then they had to build that, because that's not like just a straight shot, cut 45 and throw it up in there. It's like a curve, and you had to bend it and steam it or whatever they did. Maybe I don't know. And I was like, that's cool. Just looking at something that somebody made that's pretty, that's beautiful. That's cool. I think that's a lot of reasons why people like collect figurines and stuff, because sometimes like a super dope sculpture is just like, yo, I gotta look at that all day, son. You know what I mean? So, Bob says, LOL, looking like boxes. See Johnny Cab from Total Recall. Come on, B. That's not even. Yo, Johnny Cab. What's that actor's name? I forgot his name. But he's always in those Joe Dante films. So I like him. He's good. He's on Star Trek too. He was the hologram doctor. Dr. Hologram. That was his name, right? I don't remember. But so the Total Recall future that's the 80s future, and I don't think that's not quite what I was talking about. I was talking about more of what is it? It's like 60s and 70s, where it was still a lot of round organic stuff. Not so much, I mean, that too much, because they went a little bit too like psychedelic. But there is some box like structures in nature to those architect and industrial designs that I do like too. But like Franklin Lloyd Wright, that's his name, right? His architecture is pretty dope. I liked it, but that's super squares and rectangles and stuff, very very geometrical. But like I take that like as a foundation as far as architecture goes. But then I look at other things like sci-fi art when it comes to creating objects, whether it's like spaceships and stuff like that. And you look at like the history of sci-fi spaceships in Hollywood or in the media, whatever. And Bond says the content, film, and media created after World War. Yes, definitely. I mean, there was some before, but it was really everything before was like Buck Rogers, the little pickle with the little fins on it flying around on a string, or the saucers, this flying saucer, stuff like that. But like you said, the history of after World War II, the history of spaceship design, I like looking at it. If I was a crazy person and I had way more money than I know what to do with, I would definitely have a giant house. And in that giant house, I would definitely have a place in that giant house where, of course, video games would live. Come on, son. Also, I would just have models of all those ships everywhere. And I would definitely build them because that's part of the fun, too. Some of them probably not, Like, I've been recently getting into the Gundam stuff. Not Gundam per se, but it's the... what is it? The Thunderbolt? I forgot what Gundam it is. It is a Gundam, but I totally forgot. But it's a specific plane, and I didn't realize that it was actually a. Well, I guess it's a Gundam, so it's actually a ship. It's a robot as well. They sold that toy, I guess in the 80s and 90s maybe. So it's very hard to find, but the actual toy itself looks so cool. I'm like, yo, the toy looks just like the model, except it's bigger. I really like the way that the plane looks. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up while we're talking about whatchamacallit. I'm gonna pull it up on Amazon because that's where I know it's at. Sorry. Help. Why am I signed in? No, there you go. Here's are a few of my favorite things. Here it is. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on ketones. There we go. Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to block out the whole video. Like, come on, son. But anyway, that's the one. That's it right there. Put that over on the side. So that's it. That's the plane. That's the one that I like. And it's mainly about the profile. Look at that profile, son. That profile is so juicy and yummy. And you're like, oh, it's just a freaking plane. Hey. The VF-11B Thunderbolt. Is it the Thunderbolt? I think it's the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt. It's only 172 scale. It's about, I don't know, 5 inches or something. It's not a giant model. But I'm like, you know what? I might have to pull the trigger on it. It was above $50 at one point, and it's gone down to 42. So I'm like, oh, I might have to get it. But I've been waiting. And I really like this one. Granted, it's just a plane. It doesn't transform into the robot. And I'm fine with that because I just like it. Only thing I don't like is that I've seen videos of people buying them, and the actual plastic from the model is actually kind of a yellowish. It's a yellowish color. So I was like, I'm gonna have to paint this because I don't paint any of my models. I kind of like them plain because it helps me visualize when I'm actually making models in Blender. The level of detail that's kind of necessary without texturing. So that I kind of like that, and it looks kind of clean, you know. I don't want to tell a story with the paint. I just want it to be the design of the ship, you know. So that's one of the reasons. And also, I suck at painting, so I'll get to painting, you know, eventually. I used to paint a little bit, but I wasn't any good, and I used the wrong paints, and I was young, so I didn't know any better. Bond says, I had a chance to hear the actual broadcast. I can see how the populace back then believed there was an actual Martian invasion up in New York. Oh, you're talking about War. You are speaking of designs inspired from War of the Worlds books. Yeah. Sorry, I skipped that one. I mean, yeah, all that stuff is included, but it's like after World War II, but before Star Wars, right? And then after Star Wars, which was I'd call it a renaissance of spaceship design in entertainment. Let's just say that. And like Star Wars was dope, and then Battlestar Galactica was dope because some of the same people worked on both shows. Battle Beyond the Stars was not dope, but it's still entertaining. Literally looked like a snail. The snail spaceship. It was funny, but I still liked it because James Horner did the music. Rest in peace, James Horner. And then when CG became the main kind of avenue for design, it was rough in the early days. You know, you look at, well, actually, the next generation was still models. They used models on the Enterprise for that one, so that was kind of cool. And that changed too. But I think was it Deep Space Nine that used well, Deep Space Nine had a model as well, but I think they used I'm trying to think. I don't think they did. I think it was just a model. Yeah, that was a model. Deep Space Nine was a model, but that was different. CG became a shortcut in my opinion. I mean, it's just there's just once you have the model, there's just more you can do with it. Because like say if you have a CG model, right? You say, oh, I need another version that can blow up. You copy the model and you modify it. But in real life, you have to build two models. that takes way longer than copying a file. That's all I'm saying. So yes, it is a shortcut. It is more efficient though. But there is something to be said about like the Mandalorian, right? They use real models for the most part in the first I believe they use real models for the most part in the first season. The second season, it was a mix, right? And it looked beautiful, you know, because the same people who worked on Star Wars worked on The Mandalorian. They built their own little freaking camera setup for the models and stuff. It was so cool. I was like, all right, you know, that's when models work right there, you know. And when you can make an actual real model I mean, sometimes it's better because you could get the lighting and you get the materials and everything. It's all real, so it's not like, oh, I gotta fake the real reflections. No, it's all real, so you don't have to worry about that stuff. You just gotta build the model right with the materials. So it's better in that respect. So you don't have to figure out all these other rendering techniques later. You just film it, you know. So there's pluses and minuses, but when it comes to damage and explosions and stuff, you know, you don't want to blow up your model because that's, you know, you got to work to build it, then you got to blow it up, and hopefully you get in the first shot. If you mess up, the camera doesn't record right or whatever, you got to fix the model to blow it up again, you know. So yeah, there's pluses and minuses. I think they live in harmony with each other, but I don't think that I don't think it's, I mean, you can look at it as a shortcut, and it is in certain respects, but it's also a necessary, I won't call it evil. I don't think it's evil now because the technology is so advanced right now compared to when it started that it can look good. It's really about the artist and how they use the CG. And that's the thing, right? And that's where, like, the Mandalorian, they came and they used practical ship models. And I'm like, why would they do that? And it's because they can, and it kind of ties into the history of Star Wars and where, you know, Lucasfilm started, and it makes sense, and it's like kind of just paying homage to it, and I'm like, that's dope, and it looks good, and so I'm like, okay, let's go. So yeah, and you know, I mean, you know, this, yeah. Bond says Deep 69 had a model for the outside shots for those shows. Yeah, I was remembering. I was like, yeah, I remember it was a giant. I remember there was a, I don't think it was a Pickers. It was some kind of show where they say, "Oh man, look at this." It may have been a documentary where somebody had, I think somebody had the model. No, it wasn't that. It was 2001 because Stanley Kubrick was a BI about people having pieces of the film, so he ordered to them to destroy all the models and stuff. I'm like, no, oh my gosh. So there's no like model. I mean, there's some, but they're destroyed in garbage because they left them out in the rain and stuff. I think the kind of round space station, I forgot what it was, but I think somebody found that in the grass all rusted up and like, oh yeah, look, there's a space station that was in 2001. I was like, what? It's like, yeah, Kubrick had ordered all the props destroyed because I guess he didn't want people selling it on the market and stuff, or maybe reusing them. I think that was the thing too, because I was watching so Aliens is the movie that James Cameron stuff made, and also there's a Sean Connery movie called I totally forgot what it was called, Deep Space Rock or something. I don't remember. And he's like a space cop basically. And they use the same sets as Aliens. No, Alien. No, wait. Alien. They use the same sets as Alien, the first Alien. And I was like, that's the same set. And then people like comparing that Sean Connery movie to Alien. And I'm like, yeah, because they use the same set. So it's okay. I gotta watch that. It's supposedly pretty okay, but whatever. Anyway, I don't know how did I get from Bethesda to this? I haven't even gotten to those guys yet. The Walker dudes. And when I first started, right, I was gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna be stealthy. And I just started stabbing fools. I haven't even gotten to execute a fool like that from the top. Only because I suck. But yeah, I haven't gotten to the Walker people yet. I got to the first kind of city environment as a assassin in Dishonored. So the beginning is pretty dope, like how the Empress, you know, she gets murdered and they take your sister and all. I was like, oh man, this is crazy. So yeah, I kind of like the story so far. But like I said, it's a 360 game. So, you know, there's some things like, oh yeah, the AI is kind of dumb, and you know the facial animations are like, you know, dated but stylistic, if that makes sense. So I don't have a problem with it. See, this is Dishonored 2. I'm like, yo, I want to play it so bad because I think there's like a house that's like the the Clockwork House or something. I was like, what? And like the walls and everything kind of changed. Look at that. Yo, come on, son. That looks so dope. Compared to, wait, is that Prey or is that Dishonored? That's Dishonored. Compared to, yeah, that's his little sister is all grown up on the second one. But compared to, they're mixing the games, so I can't tell. The black stuff is Prey, and the red that's Dishonored too. But anyway, yeah, it's good. It's good. And oh wow, okay, I didn't know her hand was all messed up. See, I'm getting spoiled, man. Stop showing me the good stuff. But Bethesda, Arcane. And the thing is, like, I'm looking at Arcane. Like, I tried to play Prey, and I was like, oh, I like the beginning, but I hated the monsters. So I'm gonna go back and play it, definitely. I'm probably gonna put it on the easiest setting because I just have no patience. I'm too old for this shit. So I'm like, yo, I can't. Just let me get through this. Give me the story, real quick, cause I'm too old for this shite. It's getting late in the night. Yesterday, was it yesterday, last night? I was I don't know, watching something, YouTube or something, and my ass fell asleep with this cup in my hand, right here, and it went bloop, and I poured it all in my pants and my pee-pee. And I was like, oh, liquid. I know I didn't pee on myself, but I was like, oh, liquid. Oh my gosh, so I had to get up and clean it up off the couch and stuff. It's like, Well, we have a cover though, so I didn't get onto the supple leather. But I definitely had to clean it up. I was like, okay, I fell asleep. And I look at the time, it was like 2:30. I was like, I've been sleeping for like 2 hours. What's wrong with me? Anyway, sleeping for 2 hours with the cup in my hand, and it just finally tipped over and dribbled on me. Anyway, So Dishonored 2. I mean, I'm gonna go through the backlog and play them. The thing is that I think people aren't really taking into account. Well, ponies have no brains, so they're just like But the future IPs that the ZeniMax family of studios are willing to make or will make is like crazy bananas. It's like, okay, first of all, they can make good games, right? So it's not like, oh, the game sucks. Like, no, the games are good. So what are they going to make next? We know Bethesda's going to do what they do, but they have the resources, and now they're in a position where they don't have to worry about, oh, we can't risk making this type of game because we got to worry about selling a certain amount of copies in order to keep the lights on. They don't have to worry about that because they could be like, yo, we want to make this goofy ass game real quick. Microsoft would be like, yep, because it's more content for Game Pass. That's the main thing that these ponies are not seeing. They're not understanding that the potential for like new types of games, innovative types of games, without having to buy all this crazy hardware and stuff. It's like, oh, the ability for a studio to experiment in making games, how they make games, what they make games about, and all these things has, because of like a system like Game Pass, has expanded exponentially because they don't have to worry about the things that every other studio is worrying about because they need to sell a certain amount of units. They have to worry about the bottom line, right? The bottom line for Xbox is getting those subs to stay subbed. That's it. And so with this acquisition, it's like, yo, they're gonna get all these games. They're gonna get the future, and also a studio here and there. They'll peel off and they'll do some little goofy little game or maybe a goofy big game. Who knows? Sky is the limit. And as gamers, yeah, we should be like crazy excited about future games, because if you look at every other company's model of making games, it's like, okay, we have this franchise, we have to make a sequel or so to guarantee money. Microsoft is like, yo, we just need content for our service so people sub. That's a different model. They're not selling units. They're selling subscriptions. And you want to know why? Do you want to know why Nintendo won the video game war back in the day, the NES? Because the library was so damn big that there was no competition. It wasn't like, oh, they have the best games ever. They had good games, yes. They probably did have the best games. Just by sheer volume, there was just so many games. There was a whole bunch of hot garbage trash too on the NES. But compare, like, you look at the Master System, like, okay, Master System had more colors. The sound wasn't as good, but I think the cartridges were bigger. It's there's differences between NES and Sega Master System, but the library was gigantic on the Nintendo Entertainment, and the NES, gigantic. And people were like, it was a no-brainer. It was like, yo, they got more games later. And that thinking still exists in video gamers. Some people are like, yo, COD, that's it and that's all. Yo, Fortnite, that's it and that's all. Yo, Minecraft, that's it and that's all. Some people are like that. Excitebike is still good. Vaughn says subs and DLC is the future. Excitebike is still good. Yeah, I liked Excitebike. Like some of Nintendo's first games, arcade games, were real good. But anyway, it distracted me. So like I said, the reason why NES won is because that library was so huge, and Game Pass is kind of emulating that in that respect. You're getting a giant library of kind of not evolving, but there's always new content coming into the service. They have close to 300 games now. Now, here's the thing. Not as many as PS Now. PS Now has more games, but the Xbox Game Pass has more subs, and people talk about Game Pass more than they talk about PS Now because they look at it as a better value. And it just Sony fumbled when PS Now was basically Game Pass, except they didn't take that last and final step they needed to. If God of War was on Game Pass day one, Horizon Forbidden West on PS Now, if Horizon Forbidden West on PS Now day one, if God of War 2 on PS Now day one, that's it. That's what you have to do, Sony. But Sony doesn't want to do that because they value their IPs too much, and it costs too much to make these games to just put it out there for free. It's not really free, but. And so in that respect, I'm looking at Sony. I'm like, they're not running the marathon. They're running the sprint. And guess what? We crossing 500 meters right now. Wait, how many? What's the sprint? 100? We crossing 50 meters right now. That's not. What was that? 300 feet? No, 100. I don't even know. I can't do the math. They're not going to be able to sustain momentum. They're already losing momentum when it comes to Microsoft versus Sony or Xbox versus PlayStation. They're losing momentum because they're sticking to their what worked, right? Meanwhile, Microsoft is looking at entertainment industry as a whole, and they're taking lessons from each little sector, right? They have their cloud infrastructure. They were building that for years. Started in the Xbox One era, right? They're building this infrastructure for years in order to support the gaming, and it does other things too. It's supporting Sony. Sony is they are a customer of Xbox, of Microsoft, So I mean, maybe that announcement of the blockchain or whatever it was. No, it wasn't. It was Node something for the multiplayer. I'm like, I guess that's on Azure. Maybe the multiplayer will be better on PlayStation now. Look, that's not a good story too. If you're doing story versus story, if you're like, yo, what's in the zeitgeist right now, and you come up with we got nodes for multiplayer, it's like what? Yeah, I'm gonna go and watch the round table again because what? You ain't even talking about actual games. You talking about multiplayer nodes? What does that mean? So dumb. Right now on Pluto TV, Ghost in the Shell, Eon Flux, and The Net. Wait, are those the live action Ghost in the Shell and Eon Flux? I remember I didn't like Eon Flux. Not the Charlize Theron. I didn't like the live action. I like the anime. It was dope. You can't front. The anime was dope. I saw that on Liquid TV back in the day. I was like, yo. And I got the DVD. I don't know what I did with it, but I had the DVD with Aeon Flux. I was like, yo, it was dope. Ghost in the Shell. Well, Ghost in the Shell, the anime is dope. Hello. But the movie was pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. It was pretty dope. They did an okay job. I ain't gonna lie. Although it was different. When she went to visit her mom, I was like, this is not from the anime. It's like, this ain't. I don't even remember how it ended. I gotta watch that again. Anyway. What the hell was I talking about? The future was. Yeah, totally forgot. But, I mean, kind of going back to, generally speaking, this is a good look for gaming in general, because think about if Tencent would have bought Bethesda, ZeniMax, or if any other company that's I mean mainly Tencent. Even if Sony would have bought Bethesda, ZeniMax, right, which is impossible because they don't have that much money. If they could have and did buy them, all these games would be exclusive, right? But would they play as nice? And you can only play them on PlayStation, right? Would they still make them for PC? All these questions are like, but with Xbox buying them, yes, they're gonna be on PC, obviously. So that's not cut off. They're gonna have the streaming Game Pass stuff. That's cool. It's gonna be on Xbox. Boom. And the only reason why I think it's gonna be only on Xbox is because how Sony has been playing this for years. All last generation and this generation with all these exclusives and stuff. Yes, exclusives are necessary, but you can't be angry and salty when your competition does the same thing you've been doing for years, except on a giant, massive scale, because they got some money. So it's like you trying to come up with, like, oh, we the best, blah blah blah, right? And then when somebody with the money can just destroy you, one foul swoop. Like, oops. Are you the victim now? Oh, poor little Sony. They're not gonna get the games. Oh man. That's not how that works. You better buckle up, Buttercup. You better hold on to your butts. Because you have created this monster. If it was kumbaya between Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, everybody's sharing, we just making games, let's go, none of this would be happening right now. These exclusives, none of this would be happening. But this is the nature of this business. Many businesses too, competition. But, this is something that has been brewing for years. And as Microsoft was growing, as they announced, I don't know, a year or two ago that they crossed $1 trillion threshold as a company size, I was like, wow, they're really that big? I wasn't paying attention to what Microsoft as a whole was doing, obviously. But I say, oh, okay. That's good. A healthy Microsoft means a healthy Xbox. And the fact that Phil Spencer convinced Satya Nadella to give him money. First he said, yo, I need $2.5 billion for this little game called Minecraft. And he looked and was like, what? This game right here? What are you talking about, Phil? How are you telling me? Do you want the people? Will the people like this? Yes, Satya, they will like it. It's going to be great. Okay, Phil, here's the check. And you better not be, okay? I don't want to see you, man. Money. Make the money. Okay, Phil. See you later. Get out my house, Phil. Go. So I'm sorry if that's yeah, hold on to you. I don't I'm sorry if that was offensive. I'm just trying to emulate the power of Satya and Phil, but I don't know. Anyway, Scarlett Johansson version. My GF watched it with me last Friday, and she said she understand why there was an outcry about the lead not looking Asian. That's true, but I don't know. Because I go back and I look at the anime, and what the hell is her name? Major. Major she doesn't look. She don't look Asian. You know what I mean? It's like I think the two garbage men. The one garbage man was like, I got a daughter, and they look like Asian dudes, like Asian garbage men dudes, right? I was like, yeah. And then the guy that she fought with, she was invisible in the water, in the field, the parking lot or whatever it was. She did the invisible kick, and he was like, right? He had the glasses on. He was Asian, but Major, I mean, her name was Asian, but her face, like, look at her. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up because I'm like, she got blue eyes. She got a kind of a square nose. I don't know, is she really? Yeah. And then I look at Scarlett Johansson. I'm like, yo, they kind of look the same. But people are like, yo, Scarlett Johansson ain't Asian. Like, if she was half Asian and half whatever she is, I don't know, then I don't think there would be a problem. But I think, like, her as an actress and the person that she is, and people got offense to that. So you had to get an Asian. So if they would have got a half Asian, half white, I guess, actor, then it probably would have been okay, right? Ghost Michelle Major Kasanagi. There she is. Okay, you know what? See, that's not the okay. That's not the okay. Son of a bastard. Sorry, Phil. I got block your face. See, that's not the original. I want the original. Original. I gotta be careful. Might be some naughty bits. Let me move this out of the way real quick. Boop, boop. Okay, wait. There it is. Wait, let me let me see. Let me see first for anime. Here we go. All right. Yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. Look at that. Look at that face. Is that Asian? Or is that like some... Look how big her eyes are. Blue. I know she's an android, but... That's Johansson. Okay. Jesus. Really? It's all freaking... Okay, I gotta do it down here. Because I don't trust freaking... What am I on, Bing? I don't trust Bing. Even though I don't search naughty stuff on my computer. Let's see if this is going to give me more. I mean, yeah, this is a little better. So, I guess I closed the other. There we go. Now wait. There it is. Okay. Wait. There it is. Okay. Sorry. All right, so, yeah, that's the little girl, which is basically the same as a little girl. Like, look at all these. Look at the face. Dude, look at that shit. Come on, son. That's what I'm saying. And it's like, was the original character in the original movie actually Asian? Because I'm looking at this picture right here. That face is not. I'm not trying to be. It don't look Asian to me. She got an Asian haircut, kind of, sort of. Little bob, but come on, son. She looks straight up America. Look at that. Look at the little lips. Big ass jaw. Big ass eyes, square ass. Come on, son. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry, my thing closed. And I gotta get this one. There we go. Thanks. Makoto was never given an actual race. She is Southeast Asian. I mean, yeah, her brain, her original body, her original person, like like I said, the brain and the stem, whatever else is kind of inside of the robot body, the cyborgic. But what they put her in is what Scarlett Johansson is supposed to represent. So if you look at this picture right here, right, you look at her, you look at Motoko Kasanagi, you look at Major, and you look at Scarlett Johansson. Dude, come on, son. That's pretty close. And the fact that she went to visit her mom, who was Asian, but her mom didn't know because different face. I'm like, oh, they're trying to explain it, but people wasn't hearing it. So I think Yeah, man, I think that movie got a bad rap just because of that, and I don't think that was. Nah, man. Look at the face. Like you said, the robot, the body she was put in wasn't Asian, but what she looked like, she kind of looks like a Scarlett Johansson, right? Look at that, look at that. And then I totally forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, that's I don't. But you know what was the cool part? See, this is what I was gonna say. They are retroactively changing her appearance in the new stuff or the newer stuff after the original movie. To look at that, eyes even a different color. Now, yes, she got a different body, obviously, so that's fine. But why would she? Why? And she has the same haircut. Come on, son. Why is she more Asian now? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, why not a black lady? She can go into anybody. They can make anybody. They can make it look like anything. She could be green or blue. But anyway, now it's all anime. CG. See, look, that's super anime. No nose. That's the original. Kind of. It looks like the original. And the thing is, it's like, I think there was a part where there was another android cyborg, whatever, that I forget the character's name, that actually infiltrated. They had hooked up to the computer and it was talking through it, and it looked the same, like same face as Major, as if I think it had blonde hair or something. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's the PSVR. Yeah, man, look at that. That was crazy when it did that. When she ripped the thing and her muscles all. They did that in the live action where I was like, oh, they did the part where her muscles was like, and she ripped her arms off and stuff. It was cool. It was dope. See, that's the newer stuff. Not the new stuff, because the new stuff still looks like this, except it's all CG. I was like, come on, man. Get back to Major, man. I mean, that's okay. That's the artist. What is that, like a Pinterest? Yeah. It's like, what is it, DeviantArt? What is that? Get out of here. See, look at that. Even the little kid version looked like Major, except a little kid, which makes, I guess that's just the models that they were making or something. Bond says, my issue with the film, the storyline, it was a mismatch of what could be from the anime. They half-assed touched on the Laughing Man storyline and her quasi-origins. Yeah. No, it was the cool part I was going to say is when she went into, I think she was going to assassinate, was it the first, the first part of the movie, or I don't remember, but they had those kind of geisha android things, and they flipped around, and I was like, yo, like it looks so good. I mean, I know part of it is practical and part of it is CG, but I was like, yo, freaking, yeah, that's what she ripped her arms up, man. That was so, I mean, it wasn't yucky or nothing, but yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at this. Come on, Major. Look at that. So that's the thing I don't get, man. The whole critiquing of Scarlett Johansson portraying an android. And I think, yeah, the ending with her fight, the spider tank trying to open a hatch, yeah, that was pretty dope. I was like, oh, they did it. Thank you. Although I think that the fight in the anime, where she's like hiding behind the concrete and the spider body's like, and the concrete's like all breaking up and stuff, I think that was done better as far as like positioning, camera placement and stuff. It felt a little more, I can't really articulate it, but in the live action, it felt like it was like kind of a courtyard type of semicircle-y. I was like, it's not the same. It just didn't feel the same, but I think that might be nostalgia too, because I haven't looked at that at the original in a while. Yeah, see, I guess did it feel bigger? Maybe it felt bigger and tall. I don't know what it was, but I mean, they were close. I ain't gonna lie, but that's pretty. But who she looks like? I forget who she looks like. That's not good. And not good. We getting into deviant art territory here. It's like, wait, so what's going on there? Oh, there she is. That's such a it's like, that's such a wet blanket look. It's like, oh man, I'm busted. My arms is gone. she can't even move. I guess she could just move her eyes, right? At that point, she's just like looking at him. It's like, okay, her hair's like all undid. I do like that hair. Looks makes her look more human. I guess right there. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, that whole that whole Asian thing really, it was kind of. I think that the reaction from the kind of general public or the fans that she's an Asian was kind of a misstep, or I guess it was a misremembering of the actual, the anime, the first one. And so I'm like, y'all, she wasn't. I mean, the body wasn't an Asian body; it was just a robot lady. But if she would have looked, I guess, more, I don't want to say androgynous, but like a little. I guess what I would say is that I think Scarlett Johansson was too famous, and if they would have picked someone who kind of like looked like Scarlett Johansson, maybe a little bit taller, but an unknown, I think there would not have been as much backlash. Like, what's her name? The blonde chick who's in the blonde lady, the blonde individual, she is female, who is in Black Widow. Speaking of Scarlett Johansson, who plays her sister. What's her name? I forgot her last name, but or her first name. Florence something. Florence blah blah. Anyway, if she color her hair black, give her a little bobby bob, think she would have been good. Think she would have been a good major. I think she would be a better major than Scarlett Johansson. Not because of acting. I mean, she's a good actor, but she wasn't as like famous as Scarlett Johansson, but she still looks. She's a beautiful face or whatever, but she has kind of a. I don't want to say like generic. As a like a bad thing, but she has like there's kind of a certain percentage of like forehead to cheek to eye size to lip size to placement nose and all that stuff when it comes to what humans like the best, or babies have this certain type of layout on their faces and stuff, and so she has that. It's like a model thing, but she isn't super famous. She's famous enough. She's becoming super famous now more than ever because of Black Widow, even though it's not out yet, but we've seen all the commercials and stuff. It's like, oh snap, yeah, she looks similar. She's been in stuff, right? That British lady girl. But where I don't remember, right? So I think she'd have been, might have been better. Section 9 used mass production bodies to allow her to retain her proficiency as she moved to a new body from a damaged one. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. At that point, she wasn't part of Section 9, I think. So was it Bato? That was his name, right? Got her, he got a body that he could get. He couldn't afford like the real body, so he got a little kid body, which is kind of funny. It's like, okay, that's pretty funny. So she's sitting there like a little kid in a little kid body. She's like, thanks, I guess. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that, like the kind of nuances of world building and the fact that she got a little kid's body because Bato couldn't afford the actual, and she didn't own the body. So the whole thing about her like scuba diving is like, why do you do this? It's like, what are you doing? You weigh like 1,000 million pounds. What if your flotation tanks fail? You're gonna sink to the bottom and never come back up, and and then it's like, that body's not yours. You can't be playing with this property. And it's like, it's so crazy. It's like the world that they build with a few little tidbits of information. And I don't remember that in the live action. Is that in this live action movie? Because I don't remember them having a conversation about her being reckless with the property of the. I don't remember. I mean, I don't remember a lot of things about that movie. I do remember that fight with the dude, where she was invisible. That was pretty close. I was like, oh, that's pretty close. Wasn't it PG-13 too? See, I think the problem with the live action is it should have been rated R, and they should have done shot for shot that first assassination that she did when she jumped off of the building and she shot dude through the window, and you see his head explode out the back with his brain fragments and everything. I was like, yo, when I saw that, I was like, ooh, that's like money shot. I was like, ooh, this is an anime? Wow. They don't, woof. I was like, okay, this is, all right, this is what we talking about right now. Shot for shot, I'd be like, okay. But I think they try to do shot for shot with that parking lot fight, I think. She had been told many times to take better care of her body. Yeah, but that's not the... Is that the same as the actual discussion that they had? Like Bato and herself on the boat where she's like, I want to, feel free or, blah, blah, whatever she said. I can't remember. And she's like, and he's like, why do you take risks? It's not the company's property, blah, blah, blah. Or whatever the conversation was. I think like a scene like that, like if they would have just kind of, there's certain scenes, because I think Bato and Major, they're like the core of Ghost in the Shell, the first movie anyway. They're the heart and soul. The rookie, he's whatever. He's like the guy there. He's like support or whatever. And then the other guy with the beard and in the van or whatever, I forgot. But and then the boss, the bald head guy. I forgot everybody's name. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it's I feel they were close. As far as aesthetics, it looks really good. I'm like, yo, that's a good looking movie. I want to see that. And I did watch it because I was like, it looks good, but like the important parts, the story parts, the character parts, to give us more of a feeling of the original anime Major, I think they missed. Once again, I have to go back and watch it again to kind of really think about it while I'm watching it and say, okay, do they get there with Scarlett Johansson, versus the Major anime, the first one, And I've been watching. I tried to watch the new stuff, and I'm like, I really kind of don't care, because the first one was just so, like, it's not existential, but it's just like, it's more relatable in that she is a person, even though she's a super cop with a body that doesn't belong to her. So there's already a conundrum there. She wants to be free and be her own person, but she literally doesn't own her own body. So she can't do anything. She can't really do everything she wants to do, but she does it anyway because she is the person she is, right? And I don't remember that from the live action movie. And I'm like, Anyway, we were supposed to be talking about the round table, and now this crap is on. Let's get out of here. Get out of here. That's been on for a while. Stop it. But yeah, I don't. Just get that in here. Okay. Yay. Ooh, boop. Actually, I'll just leave it on there. But you don't like the Netflix Ghost in the Shell show? I don't. I saw, I think, 2 or 3 episodes of it, and I was like, I'm talking about the most recent one. It's all CG, and I was looking at it, I was like, okay, the CG is pretty good. I like it. It's not horrible and bad and distracting, but I don't remember. I remember not hating it. Let's put it that way. I watched the Standalone Complex back in the day when they first came out, the first version, the first series, the first Standalone Complex, right? Actually, so I watched Ghost in the Shell original. Then I got Ghost in the Shell 2. What was the subtitle of that? I can't remember. That one, okay, so Ghost in the Shell 2 was kind of cool because was it Innocence 2? Yeah, Innocence, 2004. So Ghost in the Shell 2 was kind of dope because specifically because of the time loop. And there's certain parts of like the action when the doll, I forgot what part it was, but I forgot who was, someone was running through a hallway and those doll mannequins were chasing him. I think it was Bato, and they did a flip and I was like, oh, like the anime was crazy. But the thing that got me was that time loop that happened when they went to visit the puppet master. I forgot his name or something. And I was like, huh? I was like, what? What just happened? And so I was like, okay, yeah, this movie is special, but whatever. It's like, I don't know. It's. I think after Ghost in the Shell 2, which I don't think it was as good as the first one, but I did appreciate that, like I said, that time loop part and the action part with that crazy doll right there, crazy face doll, did the super flips in the hallway. I was like, oh, I was like, okay, I give props to this film, but something about it, and yeah, like the animation was dope. I think some of the CG was a little, but yeah, it was really good. It felt. I think because Major wasn't like a character in it, I think that's what really threw it off for me, because it was Bato and it was the other dude, and that's what I think threw me off a little bit. But it was still real good, and the fact he was going there, he was getting food for his little dog and stuff. I was like, okay, all right, it's pretty dope. But yeah, now I'm gonna have to watch some movies again, Bonds. See what you got me doing, Bonds. But I appreciate it, though. I definitely appreciate it. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna get some snacky snacks in my body. And yeah, I didn't play any games today, and I know I told Kajuda I was gonna play Alt. What is that game called again? I don't remember. I think I have it on my desktop. What's it called? Alt something. I don't remember. Let me see. I think I have it here. It's called Alt Space VR, which I don't have VR, so that doesn't help, does it? But I tried it. I went back in. I signed in with my account and all that stuff. Boma, Bato, Satyo, Aramaki. Is Aramaki the is the boss guy, right? Wait, Boma. Well, Satyo is the young guy, right? Well, he's not young anymore, but he was the young rookie that wasn't augmented. He was just he didn't have no nothing, I don't think. And Bato had the eyes, of course. Boma. Was Boma the guy with the beard, or I don't remember. Or was Boma the lieutenant boss, your boss, Section 9 boss? Anyway, appreciate the knowledge. Appreciate the trip down memory lane with Ghost in the Shell, which is one of the great animes of our generation. I would say my favorite anime still to this day is, I know many people will say Akira. Of course not Akira. Akira's dope, of course, but Ninja Scroll, still my favorite. Ninja Scroll is a video game in anime form. It's so cool. Ninja Scroll is, to me, is like the precursor to like Afro Samurai, but I still like Ninja Scroll better. Don't ask me why. But Ninja Scroll is just like, and then he goes into the hot bath, chillax, and then another boss comes up and he kicks their booty, and he's like, I gotta go let me go walking down, and then another boss, the bee lady comes, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. It's like boss after boss, and each boss has their own little different thing. I was like, yo, this is like a video game. I like this a lot, and the animation was bonkers, and of course the tentacle part was like, whoa, what is oof. And that was crazy. Like her power and how he was like a bad man to her in a way. And yep, I was like, ha. I was like, yo, how is he gonna beat him? He's like rocks. And then he's like, cripple, cripple, cripple. I was like, okay, that's pretty dope. Without spoiling anything from Ninja Scroll from 1998 or so, I forgot when Ninja Scroll came out. But anyway, Bonds, I appreciate you hanging out. Kaijudo, I appreciate you as well. Bridget, I know you're not there anymore, but I appreciate you anyway too. I know you're there. I see you. And all the people in all games, I didn't even recognize y'all. Where's that? Oh, there it is. It's coming up. All games, I get to read the chat. Actually, I think I'm gonna start broadcasting in Discord. See how that works. Although last time I did that, everyone was playing sound effects, and that was like dumb. A former coworker was a huge fan of Ninja Scroll. Never miss a beat to bring it up. Yeah, Ninja Scroll was dope, man. The thing about like the movies that you love from back in the day is that they try to do a sequel, and sometimes you get disappointed. Like Ghost in the Shell 2 was good, but I still think the original is better because it's like Matrix, right? The first Matrix is dope, then the second one was like, third one was like, So it really is not surprise, but the how good the premises of a first thing makes a sequel so much harder. And that's going back to video games. God of War 2018, so good, they reimagined it, so dope. How do you make a sequel that is better than the first one? That is the conundrum that Sony face and PlayStation face right now with a God of War sequel, because the first one was so good. Best game they ever made. So now the sequel has to be better than the best game they ever made. And that's hard to do. And if it's just as good, I mean, maybe. But if there's any flaws, anyway, chat at a chat. Pace is in chat. Hey, Pace, how come you not Pace? Anyway, Pace, DC Nate, Havoc, 978, Jedi of Light, Kill Assist, Nux Sonic, Matt Bradford, famous voice actor Matt Bradford, Shadow Next Gen, Spiffy, and Wilcon. Tanks. Talking about stuff. Sorry. Oh wow, he's talking about Spider-Man 4. Pace says, "Did you beat Spider-Man 4?" Hex says, "No." Pace says, "Why the hell not? Fantastic game." Hex says, "I don't like it. I mean, there's shit about it I like, but there's needless shit I don't like. It's a Spider-Man game. I like swinging." PlayStation. Pace says, guys, should I join VGO again? GK120 says, "Is it any good? Do you just want to troll?" Anyway, that's what's happening in all games right now. But whatever. I guess I was. I guess because of the news that's happening now, that Pacey doesn't want to come visit because he knows that I'm going to be like, beep, boop, boop, beep, boop. I might be a little harsh on him, and maybe he's heartbroken because he might have a little pony DNA in him. That's all I'm saying. I'm not calling him a pony. Just saying that, you're not around when the bad news is around, when the good news of your opponent is, just saying. You would get a greater understanding of the Matrix if you also watch Animatrix shorts in order to the. I did watch Animatrix. I like the first and second act of the Animatrix, like how they tell the backstory of the robots uprising and how the humans darken the skies with the dirty cloud dirt. I was like, humans are stupid. I was like, I know humans are stupid. We see it every day in our real life. And then they really crystallized it in the Animatrix. And the part that, there was two parts where all the humans, the dumbass humans, were beating. There was a lady android, and they were just beating her up. And I was like, oh my God. It's so vicious that they're beating her with like freaking metal poles, and her freaking robot eyes are flying out her head and all this stuff, and the skin's falling off. And I was like, oh my God, so bad. And then the other side of that is when the robots and the humans were fighting, and the dude was in the mech suit, and they were pulling the arms apart of the mech, and his arms were pulling apart. I was like, oh, but it was gruesome, but I was like, you know what? You kind of deserved it. I'm just saying, maybe not you individually, little guy who got your arms ripped apart, but humans are stupid. So I was like, wow, it was really crazy. And the one with the runner where he gets to a point where he just ran out of the Matrix. I was like, oh my God, the Animatrix, I think is an underrated how do I say this? It's kind of an underrated version. It's an underrated segment or tangential stories of the Matrix. Like the Matrix, Animatrix, the rest of them could kick rocks. You know what I mean? Because I would say that the Matrix was good as a film on its own. The Animatrix was excellent. I think the Animatrix is probably better than the original Matrix because it tells stories about different individuals within the Matrix, basically, and more importantly, it tells the backstory of how Neo is following the Right Rabbit and Trinity, all this, not specifically Trinity. Yeah, 3 Robot Laws go back to iRobot. I watched that too. iRobot was okay. I was thinking about that the other week. I was like, man, I should watch that again because the dude who directed it, I totally forgot his name. The last movie he directed was not good. I think it was Gods and I was gonna say Gods and Monsters, but that's not what it's called. But he directed Dark City. Dark City was dope. Yeah, Dark City is the jam. I love Dark City, even though it's weird and stuff. The fact that it's weird and it's good and it's cool. I was like, I like this movie. So he directed iRobot, and I was like, okay, that was pretty good. And then he directed the Gods movie with I was like, I didn't even watch that. I think I started watching it. I was like, I don't want to continue, or I don't remember, but yeah, iRobot. Yeah, it's okay. But like I said, Animatrix, I think, and the thing is like you got Animatrix, right? For like a little offshoot, a tangential thing from the Matrix. The World Record, that's right. It's the name of the short where the guy ran out of the Matrix. Yeah, sure. I remember that. And the cool thing about World Record is like the art style was super like it wasn't like it's anime, but it was like it was a different art style that was like super exaggerated and stuff. It was very angular and it was dope. I was like, yeah, that's good. And he had dreads, man. It was cool. Totally forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, the Animatrix is to the Matrix as Halo Legends is to Halo, right? And so the Animatrix came out. I was like, oh, that's dope. I bought the Blu-ray, right, DVD, and then Halo Legends came out, and I was like, it's from the same people who brought you the Animatrix, and it was like a lot of the same anime companies. I was like, oh, Production IG's in there. Oh, and the funny thing about that is Production IG's short in Halo Legends is the worst short in all. I was like, how can you go from Ghost in the Shell to this hot garbage? I was so you cannot understand my disappointment in Production IG when I saw that in Halo Legends. I was like, wait, I said, oh shoot, I was looking at all the creators like, oh shoot, like, oh, Madhouse is in there, Production IG, oh, this is gonna be good. And I saw it, I was like, are you serious? And this was when Production IG was just starting off doing like CG stuff. So they did a CG, like the story was cool, but it looked so bad. It was like it was a CG story about I don't know if it was the Arbiter. I don't think it was the Arbiter, but it was an elite and his family and stuff like that. And the way that they did it was CG, and then they did an effect that made it look like kind of scratchy, paintery, watercolors kind of. I was like, this is not good to look at. And so he fights. I think he fights I forget what he fights. Maybe he fights a hunter at the end. I don't remember. I was like, I don't care. Put forward. And then the one that had it was like the Dragon Ball Z one. I was like, okay, you know what? It's pretty funny. This is pretty. It was like it wasn't Master Chief, but it was like another Spartan. I was like, this is good. The ones with Master Chief were okay. I was like, yeah, it's all right. They try to make it all super dope CG, but yeah, man. I was like, I mean, even though the Animatrix was better than Halo Legends in and of itself, based on Halo, I was like, I like this. This is good. Now I gotta go watch Halo Legends. I'll probably watch that tomorrow. But yeah, man. Bonds, appreciate you taking me down nostalgia lane. It's always good to think back on happy stuff because you get re-energized sometimes. And appreciate it. Thank you. But gotta go. I gotta go, and I gotta play some more Dishonored. Get through my library of stuffs, cause there's a lot of games to play, and playing them is crazy. Lot of games I gotta play. Oh, there you go. There's the song. This song is called Tranquility. Anyway, this was for Fire with Fire. I did soundtrack for the game. Anyway, I will see you guys, people, everybody, next time. Till the wait.